Hello, spiritual friends. Hey, this is Cynthia Clark coming to you today to announce a few new things going on with Ascension 17. And I hope you are having a beautiful day today. And I just want to share with you some news that I have going on. So we have a new podcast coming out, and I decided to resurrect my podcasting. I've actually done, I've hosted three different shows over probably the last 7 or 8 years. And I really enjoy podcasting. It's something that I feel is a good way for people to dive deeper into topics. And I love listening to shows. I love listening to interviews myself. And I think it's an amazing way to really expand your awareness and consciousness around different topics. So, of course, here at Ascension 17, I'm very passionate about ascension and spirituality and spiritual growth and just the whole concept of what we're doing with our physical bodies and how we're moving into a higher dimensional realm. So I decided we're going to be bringing in a new show, and it's called Life Ascended. It's all about discovering your divine potential every day. So I plan on doing new episodes on Thursdays. So here we are, today is a Thursday. I plan on the first episode coming out next week, exactly 1 week from today, will be our first show. And ultimately, the show is going to be about raising your vibration through practical steps, uh, bringing spirituality into the everyday, because I do feel like people maybe get caught up. How do we want to put this? They get caught up in the weapons of mass distraction. And they get caught up in maybe some of the astrological influences too, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And so, all of these things affect us, right? There's the collective, there is our own personalities, and the things that, maybe the city that you live in isn't super positive, or the people around you are not super positive. And, these things can wear you down in different ways. And so I really want the show to be a way for you to lift yourself back up, because life is not meant to be difficult or depressing, troublesome. Like, that's not what we're here for. We are here to access higher states of love and bliss. We're here to share that with others. So, anyway, I hope you're excited about that. I'm excited. And so we're going to look at, what is ascension, what is human potential, and where are we going, and what is possible for us. Okay, so we're going to explore a bunch of different topics in the personal growth category and also the spirituality category. So ultimately, the goals that I have for you by watching the show or listening to the show is to expand your consciousness, help you open up your heart, because that's so important. And ultimately, we want to connect you to your multidimensionality. I want you to remember that you're a multidimensional being. And I want you really to have a greater awareness around that and be able to use that. Okay, so I want you to remember that spirituality is a practice. It is a discipline. It is something that we don't just do it once and we're done. It's something that we embody. It's something that we are. It's something that we do every single day, right? So I've been on the spiritual path now for my whole life, really, because I have a 7 as my numerology, birth path number, which is the number of spirituality. And I didn't realize that, when I was young, I didn't realize that other people weren't like this. And this is not about religion, right? So there's a definite difference between religion and spirituality. I focus more on the spiritual side of things, regardless of what religion you have or what religious background you have. And I believe that we can coexist and we can live in harmony with each other, even if we have different religious beliefs or different different backgrounds. And I want to provide a safe place for people to really explore some of these topics and have an expanded awareness around it, right? So that's what it's going to be about. And by the way, I do welcome your ideas. I welcome your if you have a topic you want to cover, please let me know. I would love to accommodate that as we progress the show. So thank you for that. Let's see what else we have going on. So I want to also mention that the first show is going to be addressing the top things to do to raise your vibration now. Okay, so that's going to be our first topic. So I hope you're excited about that. And also, I'm going to be welcoming other people onto the show as guest interviews. So if you are anyone in the personal growth industry, spiritual growth industry, and you would like me to interview you so we can talk about what you bring to the world, what light do you bring to the world, please let me know. Just go to the link that's going to be in the description here on this show. And also, I will be having guest hosts. So if maybe you just have an interest in this stuff and you just want to have a conversation with me, we could do a show together. It could be a lot of fun. So I'm also open to that idea. Okay. So if you're interested, just go to ascension17.com and go to the podcast page to find out all the details on that. Okay, other events that are going on include I have a free event that happens every other Tuesday called the Cup of Love Group Heart Healing. Okay, so if you need some more love in your life, and this really focuses on self love, self nurturing, it's a safe container for you to go, and we transform trapped emotions and we move into higher states of love and bliss. And this is something that you need to sign up for if you're interested. I do have a limit on the number of people that can join each time. And so you do need to register, even though it's a free event. So just go to ascension17.com/events to sign up for our next Cup of Love group heart healing. So I would love to see you in there. And ultimately, it's about elevating our heart, and it's a process of ascension, right? It's one of the 7 aspects of ascension, is connecting to higher and higher states of love and bliss. All right, so that is what I want to announce about that. Another thing that I've got going on for you guys, I have a brand new report that I just came out with. It's called 5 Ascension Symptoms that you may have and what to do about them. So I came up with this report because I feel like people have they have an awareness that something is going on, that something is happening, but they may not fully understand what it entails, or what is this whole ascension thing going on? And so I created this report for you so that you can understand the 5 symptoms that are the main symptoms that people are having, and how we can elevate that into a new awareness. So just go to my homepage at ascension17.com for that. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Also, let's get into some news. Okay, so we definitely here we are in August. We're in the middle of August. The Lionsgate portal just opened up on the 8th. So 888 is the Lions Gate, because we're in 2024, which is an 8-year. So this is a big major portal for opening up our abundance and opening up new opportunities. So hopefully over the last week, you've been taking advantage of that, and you've been doing some proactive steps to really elevate your abundance. And if not, it's not too late, because we're still in the waxing moon cycle. And so, by the way, I did a video on the Lionsgate on this channel, so you can go back and you can watch that video. And then I also want to mention that we're in a Mercury retrograde up until August 28th of this month. So Mercury retrogrades happen about 3 times a year. And sometimes people have a lot of fear or anxiety around them. I don't want you to feel that way, because it is a time where, even though communication may be more difficult, like me doing a live stream in the middle of a Mercury retrograde, right? But nonetheless, I have to do it anyway. um, but no, it's not about that. It's really about healing our own voice, and really gaining our own confidence, listening to ourselves more, right? It's about going inward. You can also call on Archangel Gabriel. That came up recently in one of my group events. It came up for everybody. It was so interesting. We can call in Archangel Gabriel to assist us with this Mercury retrograde. But I did do a video on that as well. So please go find that video to easily manage your Mercury retrograde time. Okay. So I also want to talk about this event that just happened yesterday, August 14th, called the Grand Cross. Okay. So we do have different astrological events that occur. Like, I believe the last time I did a live stream was talking about the solar eclipse that was in April. And I flew to Texas, and I made it just before totality. It was actually pretty intense, because we were watching most of it from the air from my Cessna. I have a Cessna 182 and I'm a pilot. And so we were watching everything from the air. We were in the middle of Texas. Uh, but there were clouds everywhere. We weren't sure what was going to happen. We ended up landing, I'm not kidding you, 2 minutes before totality. It was so tight. And it was starting to get dark. It was hilarious, because we're looking down and we're like, where is the runway? Because it was getting so dark. And so we were like literally right over the runway, but it was getting so dark. We were having a hard time seeing it. Anyway, that was my last, astrological event that it was a big event. And we do have solar eclipses that happen in other parts of the world, but it doesn't happen in North America very often. So it was kind of a big deal. And unfortunately, there were clouds. But we did get to see, my spirit guides actually came to me and they said, we're going to make sure that you see the eclipse. We're going to open it up for you. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. We landed right before totality. The clouds parted just enough for us to see what was happening. And then of course the clouds closed in again. So we didn't get to see it for very long, but it was amazing, because it was exactly as my spirit guides had said it was going to be. So, so anyway, I want to talk to you about this Grand Cross, and it essentially is about the moon in Sagittarius. That's where we're at right now, hooking up with Venus in Virgo, Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, and Saturn in Pisces. So this is kind of complicated. So I'm actually just going to read you some of the notes that I've took on this. So essentially a grand cross is a powerful astrological configuration that occurs when four planets form a square, right? So they call it a grand square or a grand cross, where they have the 90-degree angles from each other. Okay, so that's what it looks like. So it creates on the chart, it looks like a big square. Okay, so this creates, normally squares are considered challenging, or they're considered, um, tense, like tension. And I look at everything as an opportunity for growth. So we always want to look at, like, okay, this is not, it's like the Mercury retrograde. Okay, it's not here to beat you up, it's not here to punish you. Okay, it's nothing like that. It's actually here to give you an opportunity for growth. So I'm going to talk about those things today. Okay, so when we are looking at this particular configuration, okay, we have some things happening. Okay, so number one, with the moon in Sagittarius versus Saturn in Pisces, we have a balancing of idealism and reality. So the lesson is the moon in Sagittarius brings a thirst for adventure. I'm a Sagittarius sun, so I definitely I'm always about adventure. And Sagittarius is also very optimistic, and there's a desire to expand. It's ruled, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so it's all about expansion. However, when we have Saturn in Pisces, this is introducing a grounding influence, reminding us to stay realistic and deal with the emotional and spiritual limitations that we're facing. So, the lesson here is to balance the desire for freedom with the need for discipline, structure, and realistic goals. Okay, so that's the first lesson. And so the theme around this is learning how to ground your dreams in reality and do this without losing your sense of hope or exploration. Okay, because those are the themes around this particular aspect. Okay, number two, we have Venus in Virgo versus Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. This is bringing harmony between personal desires and collective responsibilities. So, I mean, I'm definitely feeling the pull of this one. That's probably one of the reasons I decided it's time to bring back a podcast, because I always have the collective in mind, but I also have I'm a Sagittarius. I have that strong sense of freedom. So here it is. So anyway, this particular lesson with Venus in Virgo emphasizes practicality, self-care, attention to detail in relationships. So, on the other hand, we have Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, which encourages curiosity, communication, pursuit of knowledge. That's all Gemini stuff. And so, this can create a tension between the need for precise and careful interaction and the urge to engage in a variety of activities and conversations. Okay, so the key theme for this one is finding balance between focusing on self improvement and maintaining flexibility in your social interactions. It's about integrating your personal desires with the broader need for learning and adapting to new ideas. Okay, so that's our second one. Our third aspect that we want to talk about is Venus in Virgo versus Jupiter in Gemini. So this is bringing tension between practicality and expansion. So again, we look at Venus is Virgo. Venus in Virgo has a focus on that order and practicality, and it contrasts with Jupiter in Gemini, which is expansive, and also it can be somewhat scattered. So the energy kind of goes in a lot of different directions, but it doesn't really know where it's going. So this aspect is asking you to find a way to pursue your growth and knowledge while still maintaining an organized approach. So the key theme is about learning to expand your horizons and growing intellectually without becoming overwhelmed or losing focus on what is essential for you. So it'd be really good to prioritize what you need for yourself. Okay, so our fourth aspect is the moon in Sagittarius versus Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. This one is probably the most difficult, by the way, because we have emotional versus intellectual growth. So we have an emotional fulfillment that is wanting to occur. That's definitely what the moon in Sagittarius is all about, emotional fulfillment. So it's a good time to come to that cup of love, by the way, and do some healing around your heart. Okay, it's so important. And then we also have Mars and Jupiter and Gemini focusing on mental stimulation. So they're very opposite, right? We have our emotional needs versus our intellectual needs. And so they oftentimes don't agree with each other. And which one is winning, we could get into arguments over things and there can be a lot of tension when we're not in our heart space, right? That's very important. So we want to harmonize the emotional while still satisfying our intellectual curiosity. So we want to do both of these if we can. And don't spend too much time in one or the other. Okay. So, yes, we want to find what makes us feel good, but also pursuing our opportunities for growth and what do we want to learn more about. Okay, so that's the fourth one. Number 5 is we have navigating inner versus outer conflict. So Saturn in Pisces can represent deep internal challenges and the need to face spiritual truths, while Mars in Gemini drives an external action and communication. So the tension arises in balancing these internal struggles with the desire to act and communicate externally. Okay, so that's our next theme. And so we want to integrate the inner spiritual and emotional struggles with your outward actions, ensuring that your behavior is aligned with your deeper truths. Okay, so these are the main themes going on with this Grand Cross. I know it's a little bit complicated, but hopefully you can digest this and really embody the positive opportunities available to you. So ultimately, we want to look at the integration of the different aspects of our life, the emotional, the intellectual, the practical, and the spiritual. And we want to look at where there's tension in those different areas. And we want to find the balance through all of this so that we always want to balance our elements and be in harmony, right? So what is working in your life and what is not working in your life? Ultimately that's the bottom line of all of this is exactly that. It's like you need to remember that you're a spiritual person embodying a spiritual uh, pathway, right? We're all spiritual beings, whether we remember it or not. And ultimately, we're looking to find the balance within the different aspects of ourselves and being in the physical, being in a body. And we have an opportunity this month to really focus on the big picture of what we want to bring in, That's definitely the fiery Leo in the sun, right? The sun is in Leo. But with the moon in Sagittarius, that's another fire sign, right? We have two fire signs happening with our sun and moon right now. So we want to really look at transforming the negative aspects that are not serving us anymore. And it's time to let them go. I get tired of people who they're in various states of awakening. And so we can be so judgmental, right? That's kind of the negative aspects of this grand cross is Sagittarius and Leo are both very strong personalities. And so on the negative side of that, it's like we can get upset and we don't want it's hard when people don't see things the same way that you do. But I don't want you to lose heart on that. I don't want you to be frustrated about that. Instead, I want you to focus on how can I be more loving? How can I be more in harmony with myself? What is my personal mission? What am I balancing? Because what's reflecting back to you is what needs healing. And if it's really getting you triggered, that's a good sign for you to recognize that there's some healing that you need to do around that. So, if you're not getting triggered, guess what? You're probably healed. So this is another good way to really gauge, like, how well are you doing in your life is looking at where those triggers are happening. Okay. So I hope this makes sense to you and I hope it helps you. But bottom line, what I want you to remember is that we have a new show coming up next week, which I got to go record that. I better get busy. So it's called Life Ascended, and it's all about bringing spirituality into the everyday. If you want to be a guest on the show or a co-host, please reach out to me. I would love to speak with you about that. And I'm going to be reaching out to some of my friends that I know who would be great for the show. So I look forward to hearing from you. And I want to remind you also that if you need some emotional heart healing and you've had some triggers coming up for you from this Grand Cross or this Mercury retrograde or whatever it is, please consider coming to my free event, the Cup of Love Group Heart Healing, and let the safe container that I have created nourish your soul, nourish your emotional body, and let's go ahead and elevate into a higher state of love and bliss. So, those are my key takeaways for you for this show today. So, if you have any comments, please leave me a comment. If you have ideas for the show, please let me know. I would love to hear your topic ideas, and I will, you know, take them into consideration for a future show. I would love for you to participate, and it's going to be. We're definitely going to bring in some of my channelings. So I do automatic writing pretty much every day. I have a lot of different things to share. We have different invocations. We're going to bring in some practical spiritual things that you can embody in every single episode. Okay, so that is what's coming up. So I hope you're excited. And you can always go to ascension17.com for a list of all my offerings, by the way. So we do offer hand analysis and guidance readings. We offer different trainings in abundance and ascension. I do a certification for spiritual coaches and healers. And there are a lot of different events that you can participate in. So I just mentioned one, but I actually have a lot of other events too. So you can just go to ascension17.com to check out everything that we have to offer. And until next time, I wish you infinite abundance. And also, I wish that your heart is full of love and joy now and always. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.